Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to another episode here with Stryker as we play through Lost Relics, and we got to talk about some news that came out today. Turns out, to go ahead and jump right into the story, Coinbase has officially announced, at least here in the United States, that they're going to be delisting Enjin. Sounds pretty bad. I'm not gonna lie, sounds pretty bad. Here's the thing, right? Enjin has been making significant changes. You all are quite aware of it. I'm still trying to catch up in general. Turns out that Enjin ended up splitting their blockchain across various different networks, right? So we had the Ethereum network, we had the JumpNet scaling solution, and we had the parachain activity on Polkadot. Now, as for those of you that are familiar, maybe had watched some of the old videos when we had talked about Polkadot, the basic system that used to be implemented was that the company or the blockchain that was going to pretty much rent out security from the Polkadot relay chain would have to lock their Polkadot into a smart contract that would need to be auctioned. I believe it was either every 1 year, maybe every 2 years. The details escape me at the moment. But over that course of time, when Enjin decided to make that transition, turns out that it didn't go too positively for them. They spent quite a bit of time developing and really did not receive the type of user engagement that they were hoping for to justify the locking up of the Polkadot in general. Now, to be fair, I think you can make the same argument across the entire Polkadot ecosystem. You know, there are some major DeFi plays inside Polkadot. And I originally, when I had received word that there was a chance that Enjin was going to be making the change over to Polkadot, and that Lost Relics was going to be following them, I was on board. I was all in, ready to go with Polkadot. One of the old theses that I used to have back in the 2020, the COVID cycle, was that mass gaming adoption, if it were to ever happen on blockchain, would just drive up the value of whatever layer one that the game resided on. There's a lot of discussions about the protocol layer versus the application layer and where value accrues, and that can be a whole conversation to itself. Right now, I just want to go over some of the basics, right? So I'm still learning, still going through this, but because these Enjin had split their activity across various networks, they had to do, which started back at the end of 2023, I believe, a triple migration. This idea of having the tokens that were available on Ethereum, on Polkadot, and on JumpNet, assigning them value and assigning them a certain amount of time for people to transition over those assets to the new blockchain. Now, this is for those of you that may not be super familiar with blockchain, dynamics in general. You can just look at it the way that things had happened with Lost Relics, which was, hey, the transition's going to happen. You get your items into the game. If you don't, it's one of those. It's going to be an issue, and buyer or asset owner beware. This is obviously when you're in control of your own wallet in this Web3 ecosystem, the player base or the wallet holder bears a lot of responsibility. Stay on top of this news, do what they got to do. But this situation didn't just apply for Lost Relics; it applied for everything Enjin related. Now, originally, when I was thinking about what the value thesis was for Enjin, one of the top drivers for me was the fact that when Enjin launched in 2017, it distributed about 75% of all of the tokens that were generated to the community, right? Leaving only a very small percentage to be given out for rewards and given out for other incentive type of programs. Now, because they did that, it quickly was able to spread across the ecosystem, and it was very easy to see that there was a significant amount of Enjin being held across various exchanges. It was very widely distributed, very big positive signs for the idea of decentralization, right? This is all good news in general. Now, the thing that that kind of led to was this idea that because it is so widespread and because there's so many organizations that have their hand in the cookie jar of owning these assets under Enjin's blockchain, it would make it a lot easier from my perspective for this idea of like ETFs or like exchange traded products to be able to say, hey, look, this is an item that is decentralized. It is owned and can be accumulated, through these different types of products, since it's so widely adopted across the whole world, not just in one jurisdiction, not just in the United States. They got major approvals in Japan at one point in time. I don't know if you remember, they had made some announcements about even teaming up with Square Enix for Final Fantasy NFTs, and so there was a lot of activity that was going on there. Now we kind of have to reassess. The thing that narrative is now gone. In my opinion, now decentralization has more than likely been significantly reduced. I believe. Now, granted, guys, I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm a lot of you know that I've just barely started getting back into the swing of things with gaming here on Lost Relics. So I am learning and I'm still catching up on all the news that happened over these past year or 2 years. What does it mean? Why does, what I ended up doing is when I was making the transition of, hey, I'm gonna have to pull away for a little while. I had sold pretty much all of my Enjin token in general. Now, obviously keeping all of my Lost Relics assets because I still believe in the project itself. But the platform I didn't really want to take a chance with. So now I'm having to have a game plan in terms of, what am I going to be doing here for the future? What should I be expecting? What's realistic? What are these? A whole bunch of questions that just cannot be answered at this time. To give the bull side of the case, one of the major things that they always say in Web3 is that, hey, if you're a project and you survive multiple cycles, like Enjin has, like Lost Relics has, that is a huge sign of success. The fact that you're able to make it past one cycle is huge. Like I've gone through the entire investment ideas here of like, right before, when we were coming into this cycle, I was already looking at what are the chains that survived, what are the ones that are going to continue to perform well, and that fell right in line with what we're discussing here today with Enjin. So really, the way that you can look at it is that they're not dead. They're not dead. They're still going. They're still operating. Now they are doing it under their own accord, right? They have the freedom to be able to operate. How they see fit, grow the ecosystem, grow the blockchain, and as according to their priorities, rather than external holders, or rather to what they're trying to accomplish on different chains. Who knows if this is going to be successful? We're seeing layer 1 blockchains pop up everywhere, layer 2s on Ethereum. Now we're already talking about this next wave of layer 1s for next cycle, things like Aptos and Sui and all these other ones. Polkadot is coming out in a whole bunch of advertisements all over Web3 space. So, them making their changes as well. So it's going to be a tough one. I do expect them, at least at this point. It just does feel like this more than likely, at least with respect to the United States, is going to be probably the low point. It's very difficult for me to foresee something worse happening in the United States. But, many of you in the Discord have already pointed out, hey, this is not going to affect this isn't going to affect Binance listings. Binance is worldwide. There's going to be plenty of other ways for people to get a hold of Enjin, regardless if it's the ERC20 token or if it's the native Enjin token on the Matrix chain or on the Relay chain to be able to send over. So, I don't want to count them out. I don't want to say it's game over here, but it does just feel like no matter what, no matter which perspective you look at it, this does seem like this is going to be a story and development of a project we're going to have to start looking at it in terms of what can they do by next cycle. This cycle kind of feels like there's not going to be enough time, for them to be able to pull off anything. I would assume major to move the dial. It more seems like, hey, right now, just survive, make it to the next year, make it to the next cycle. And then obviously, gaming is one of those things that is the economics of gaming can be positive in bull markets and bear markets. A lot of the times they like to say that gaming is recession proof. Maybe that's the case, maybe not. I can make arguments both ways, but I don't see them going away anywhere from now. So the good news is, if that's the case, how should I view it as a player? What can I'll let you know what I'm thinking so that you can, compare it to your own thoughts. And by all means, guys, like I'm fully expecting that some of the things I'm saying right now is just going to be completely wrong. Like I said, I've been trying to catch up here. So let me know in the comments, call me out, message me on Discord, send me a friend request, do what you got to do on X. And let me know what parts you think that I'm just completely off on, and what parts you think that, I may have hit the nail on the head. So, my game plan right now is, if this is going to be a fresh new start, you're going to get a chance to, pretty much relive an entire cycle of development, right? If you had made mistakes, whether you're a developer or investor or a player, if you had made mistakes during this entire transition, now you have more awareness to be able to make smart decisions going forward. It is, I do plan, this is just going to have to spark even more research on my end. So I wouldn't be surprised that if in a few episodes of content that I put out here for you guys with Lost Relics, that we go even deeper on it. I just wanted to give you my off the cuff thoughts in terms of what's going on right now, in general. I don't necessarily believe it's like, oh my God, panic sell. As a matter of fact, from my perspective, I'm looking I'm hoping that the situation gets a little worse in terms of price. And if it does, and it gets a little irrational, I may open up a new position in Enjin all over again. The way I kind of see it right now is that if I'm buying Enjin, it's because I'm buying it to buy Lost Relics items. So really my investment is going into Lost Relics, not necessarily the chain. Of course, it's it's difficult. You can look at it both ways, right? Because what is Enjin without Lost Relics, and what is Lost Relics without Enjin? So, we'll see. But I'm just letting you know, these are my general thoughts on what I'm planning to do. I'm planning to keep my eye on. Things may change. In general, right now, I am of the mindset when it comes to this blockchain cycle that I fall right in line with the Real Vision, Raoul Paul, the Wrecked Vision analysis of like, hey, we're about to go into the banana zone. Things are about to start getting crazy, especially with everything on the election and all the positive news in the U.S. about legal acceptance, passing of certain bills and regulations in Congress. So, and obviously Biden and Trump, just in general, being forced to have the discussion on crypto out in public. So we're going to see how it develops, and we're just going to have to adapt to it. But I'll get you more information and update my thoughts. If I was wrong on something, I'll update it, hopefully on a future video. For right now, that pretty much is covering Enjin, and pretty much, I would say about 70-80% through this run. Let's talk a little bit about the meta, what I've been trying to learn here with Lost Relics. I started watching some YouTube videos, shout outs to Spizzo, shout outs to The Hidden Hero, to just all the Twitch streamers. I was looking over people's VODs, trying to see like, hey, what items are they running with? Why are they, how are they attacking certain enemies? Like what are they doing? So things that popped out to me is that, healing and the healing relics and energy relics, while still important, seem to be less important as what they were in the past, with more people focusing on like damage dealing and crit. Like, I guess it's this idea of like, if you kill them in one shot, then you're gonna significantly save yourself when the chances of taking damage. I get that completely. I started, haven't made any moves. I know a few of you have been messaging me about wanting to buy or sell blockchain items. I'm still not there yet. I need to do more homework before I start playing the market on the blockchain side, especially with what's going on with Enjin. But I definitely 100% in the gold market. I think on my last video I had like almost 2 mil in gold, and you can see now I'm down to like 150K, and some of that right now is locked up in the marketplace. but a lot of it has been spent. This idea of where I was just trying to do a quick assessment. You know, I came back. Where am I at on the leaderboard? Why is it? You know, what's important for me to level up, and why? You know, what are people paying for in terms of items? You know, so first thing I just did was I looked at my production skills and I was like, hey, look, I still got an advantage here, just based on the amount of time I put in. Let's go ahead and push that advantage. So I went ahead and I acquired the resources I need to level up. But people are telling me that if I make it to Inverdin, and I unlock the production skills over there, it'll be much faster and easier for me to get everything done rather than running back and forth. Don't necessarily know what it looks like or if that's the case, but I'm just assuming that that's true. So that's the game plan. You know, you can see here I've already turned in some bombs and I've turned in some wood to build the bridge to or the tunnel to Inverdin. My bad if I'm pronouncing it wrong there. But yeah, I just have to do some more of these runs. These Vinestone crystals, got to go get them, turn them in, and see what's next. Sounds like there's going to be like 2 or 3 more quests that require grinding. We'll just have to see how it goes. You know, that's what my plan is right now. Also want to do a marketplace video coming up, but that's going to take a little bit of time. So for now, you know, this is going to be Striker signing off. Hope you all enjoyed the video. Make sure to like, subscribe, and follow. Catch you next time.